Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Okay, so we're
Awkward.
talking about what?
I said awkward.
We're going to talk about uniting divine energies, but you guys, well, maybe you don't know us, but we like to just sort of ease our way into things. And it's very perfect because it's about dividing in. What am I talking about right now? Uniting divine energies. And I feel like the divine feminine is not like, let's just get down to business. Let's just get to our agenda, right? Like it's really about like, let's settle into the space. Let's see what's here. Let's connect.
I can't take you serious when you do skit voices. I'm saying yes. We'll ease into it.
Well, how has your week been? I know we've talked once this week, but any other things you want to tell us about?
It's been really going. I think we talked more than once. I felt like I talked to you a couple times.
In our dreams, I'm sure we astral project and travel to see each other, and that's probably what it is.
So you're saying you see me in your dreams? Bob is going to watch this and it's going to start a whole nother controversy I just do not need in my life. So, but yeah, things have been really good. I mean, everything given. I hope everyone else is doing well. COVID's still being COVID, but I've been able to find my center, my balance, my time with you. How you been doing?
Things are good. Like, honestly, I feel like I'm obsessed with channeling, and I honestly feel like everything I want to watch on Gaia is about channeling. And honestly, I don't think it's going to happen.
What?
Oh, there's do you have Facebook open in the background? You need to shut that shit down. It's echoing. Then we'll get back to channeling.
Ma'am, that is not the divine feminine. That is very masculine of you and very hostile. So
actually, I feel like we'll sort of break into this a little bit, but I do feel like you can be powerful in the divine feminine. I think that's a myth. Shut that shit down. Come back here.
Go on with your channeling.
Anyway. Yeah, so I felt honestly like I was actually kind of being pushed when Lucinda wasn't able to join us to be our other guest, that they were like, yeah, we want you to channel the divine feminine consciousness. And I was like, I am just stepping into this. I don't really feel like I'm ready to channel live on our podcast. And they're like, well, it's fine. We're just going to stream of consciousness through you at certain points. I'm like, that is okay.
So you had that full-on conversation with yourself beforehand?
Not with myself, with my spirit team. You and I must need to catch up. Like this has been over the last few days, but yeah, I really do talk to my guides and my spirit team. And
so for anyone that doesn't know, give us a quick synopsis of channeling. Is channeling versus meditation? What exactly it all?
Channeling is going to be a different episode, so I think we should just talk about the divine feminine. But yeah, that we could go into that, and I feel like it's such a new thing that I don't even think we need to dive into that right now.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, all right. We're super bossy today. All right, awesome. So
well, I would say, okay, fine. I would say, you can have conversations sort of with your spirit team where you almost feel like an answer back. But if someone channels, they could do it through writing, or they can do it as a voice channel. And that area is not something I mostly do written channeling, although Lucinda tells me that I was channeling all the time, and that I feel like I do it during my readings at certain points where you just talk really fast and you're basically just connecting in with a consciousness and pulling it through. It's interesting, and I'm just starting to understand it, but it's fascinating. I mean, Abraham Hicks, people listen to Abraham Hicks, that's channeling.
Yeah, I mean, I think I get the gist of it, but I want to catch everyone else up. I kind of want to talk about why we're talking about this exact topic today. What's inspired it? You usually ask me that question. So what's inspiring this topic? Miss Bradley?
Wow. I feel like there's been a lot of shifts happening within me that have been really sort of waking up the divine feminine, and it came in different pieces. Like, obviously I read that book called Witch, and we had our Bitches and Witches episode, and I just think it I feel like I hear echo. It's really fucking distracting. We got to shut down any like Facebook no.
Nothing's open on my side, so maybe it's your spirit team, and maybe they just need to quiet
Maybe they're
down.
just echoing everything back.
So
okay. Anyway, what inspired it is I just keep hearing my voice back. You talk about it. I can't focus in because I'm hearing my voice back over and over, and it usually doesn't do this.
are you gonna have an emotional breakdown during our podcast, or can you get it together? I'm
gonna channel the goddess Kali, and I'm just gonna fucking make chaos right now. Like, I'm gonna pull a card. I'm just gonna pull a card. That's what's gonna happen, and I trust that it's just gonna be something amazing. Okay. This is what you have to deal with all the time. Ooh. With focus and intention, I can shape my energy in any direction.
Nice.
Camera for those that are like watching.
What deck is that from?
It's actually from the Moon deck, because Sonia was like asking about it, and I'm like, I have that one.
Where'd you get that Moon deck from?
From you. Yeah.
The same. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So real quick, I kind of want to get into like what I.
No, we're not going to read it.
We'll read it.
Okay. Well, this is for anyone listening too. It says manifest. With focus and intention, I shape my energy. Energy has a rhythm, frequency, and vibration, and when we focus our intention with purposeful calm, our ability to shape energy in the desired direction is magnified. You're becoming more skilled at receiving and manifesting as you fine-tune your ability to cast your loving spells into the world. Maintain a sense of reverence for the greatest good, and your skills will flourish anytime you exert force or doubt into the equation. Equal force or doubt will push back. So we'll just stop there. It goes on into a ritual, and
I like that. I needed that. That got me re-centered. So thank you for that. So
yeah.
Can I touch real quick on a few things I was looking into about feminine energy versus masculine energy and the combination of the two, just for anyone that doesn't really know what the hell we're talking about, and and how both energies are actually, they're really, really beautiful. And the issue at hand is that we've kind of gone lopsided on energies, right? That's the feeling.
Yes.
We've kind of gone really lopsided, and it's been the masculine energy, right?
The patriarchy.
Yeah, the patriarchy. And we're really, the shift that is being talked about all over the place and we're feeling is going into the feminine energy. The beautiful, beautiful feminine energy. So real quick, a couple of notes on feminine energy. This is described from various sources I was looking through. So feminine energy is described as flowing, dynamic. It's like a river. The core of feminine energy is creation out of thin air. The strength of feminine energy comes from her soul and knowing who she is. Feminine energy needs expression and creation or it will dry out.
I feel like I want to add a few other things, because I want to say I want to say all of that, and like I really like the sense that there is chaos in it, right? Mm-hmm. Like the universe was born out of chaos, and so that's sort of like the side of the emotions and how that has been too much for men and the patriarchy, right? And that women have held it all in. So I want to make sure that it's all of encompassing of all the different things. It's like working with the cycles of nature and knowing that we are a part of nature. It is really seeing ourselves as intuitive beings that are able to fucking pull intuition and ideas like really from universal consciousness and just share that shit, create from there. I feel like there's so much that is also dynamic that I don't want it to be misunderstood as being just only like the soft sides of things. But yeah, I think that that's an amazing, beautiful description.
Well, yeah, and with that, absolutely. Like, I think that's what the dynamic part comes from. It can be dynamic, it can be exhilarating, and sometimes it can be frightening because it's like a river, it's flowing, and that's feminine energy. Like, even talking about it, I can like feel it, like in my, because we have both parts, everybody. And that's, I think, where we get a little off track, is that men feel that. And so the masculine energy is described as stable, more predictable. Its strength is willpower, clarity, focus. Male energy is protective and direct. And again, we have both those energies within each one of us. But I feel that men feel that they have to like encompass just that male energy, and anything that's feminine has to be pushed aside or is weak. And then women feel that, like, well, not you, my love, but a lot of women feel they have to be more docile, and they have to, give into that more masculine protective energy, and they can't encompass it within themselves. And
well, here's the thing though too, is that I see the problem is that most women growing up doing business, like really being in a career that is built by the patriarchy, that most people are trying to operate from masculine, including women, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good for a lot of men either. And I feel like that is sort of like a big thing that I want people to recognize, is how really uniting these energies creates balance within them, and that really all of nature is meant to exist within balance, and this like inner peace and joy and all the things that people want, like really like start with the balance of these energies. Like I really want to be so bold to like say that I feel like this is a foundational thing. Would you agree with that boldness?
Absolutely. And I just feel that everything, I don't even know how to put it in words, like everything that's happening right now, it is a harking, it is a calling, it is a push for us to understand the feminine energy more. And people are gonna be like, oh my God, he's so gay with the things you say, but like to understand the feminine energy more and embrace it more, because I think our balance is way the fuck off.
If anyone listening were to say that it's because you're gay, they are not our ideal listeners. We are not speaking to those people, so I don't care. let's just name that.
This brings me back to your text yesterday when I tried to say something about like, oh, I don't want them to think we're taking us too serious, and you said,
oh yeah, go ahead and read. What did I say?
Someone will find fault in anything that would do that's what they're looking for, and they are not our people.
And I'm pretty sure I said this age that we're going into is the age of giving no fucks. So we're gonna do whatever we want to do. And the chips will fall where they may, right?
But I mean, even like as we go through like this whole, illness that is sweeping about, this, political change, the civil change, I think that we're really neglecting tapping into that feminine energy. And we're going by patriarchy, like you said, by masculine, and we're really missing that nurturing, also wild, also very creative energy within each one of us. And I think anyone that has any kind of spiritual ear or is part of any kind of spiritual community, they know that the time of feminine energy, the rise of feminine energy, is upon us, right?
I would say they should by now, and it's being awakened specifically in the women. I mean, I definitely see it in the women. I'll be curious to hear if some of the men are feeling it as well. Like, by the way, guys, there's chat here and you can like interact with us and ask questions and share wisdom. But I do feel like women are waking up to it, that it's really something that can't be ignored anymore, and just start to notice the people around you. Or better yet, honestly, like be the fucking one to like wake them up to how powerful they are, and not just wait for them to sort of find it themselves, because we are also all waking each other up as well. We're going to have a few different guests, and I really love that they're going to be bringing different perspectives and different angles to everything. So I do want to bring in Lamont so that he can join us. So I'm going to pull him in right now. Okay. Hi.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, good. Awesome.
How are
How's it
you?
going?
Were you having some technical issues, my friend?
I was having some technical issues. I was like, oh, of course. Like, you've been working all day, and like now you want to glitch and mess up and go slow. Like,
Well, you're here
but
now. Maybe we
yeah.
should just breathe and take it all in. There we go.
So how's it going, guys? I'm glad to be back.
Oh, look
Thanks
at
for having me
you,
back.
healer. I love that.
I'm glad you're back, my friend. Lamont, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself for those of you that are not familiar with our fabulous friend Lamont. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name's Lamont Damon, and before I was a inspiring motivational leader, trying to become a motivational leader. I was watching your show. I've been watching you guys' show ever since I've been on the first time, and you guys had a guest, and she was talking about, oh my gosh, my brain's just going all, okay, slow down, brain, slow down.
I love you.
All right, so you guys had a guest, and she was talking about being an empowerment leader, and I was like, whoa, what is that? Because that sounds so much better than what I'm trying to do. And so I've been doing tons of research, and I am now like an empowerment, like inspiring to be an empowerment leader.
No, you are an empowerment leader, my friend. Just own it. Own it. I'm trying to get ahead of Ashley before she lays into like, own it.
You know what's so funny too is that person, Andy, that you were talking about, the empowerment coach, just texted me right as you were saying that as well. So, hello, universe. I see you.
Hello.
Yeah, so you are a empowerment leader. And then I know that there's certain things like related to this topic. Why did we ask you to talk to us about uniting divine energies?
Probably because you guys feel like I have a good sense of balance in life, or at least like in concepts like these. I probably could use a little bit more balance in life, but in concepts like these, and I was listening to everything you were saying earlier, and I totally agree with you. Like, male energy, female energy is a balance. It goes back, like you can go back to the Chinese culture, the yin and yang, and they even talk about like that kind of balance and everything. So
it's funny because I always talk to people, with their business about the balance of the being and doing, and I'm like, yeah, it's the yin yang, the being, doing, the masculine, feminine, and that we're all meant to really exist in this balance between the two. Have you ever felt like you were more on one side or the other and experienced what that was like?
Absolutely. So growing up, I felt like I didn't feel like I was surrounded by a lot of female energy because unfortunately in my family, the women were the head of the household. And actually it's not unfortunate. I take that back. I'm so sorry. It wasn't unfortunate.
I got so scared for you right now. I was like, Lamont, please don't say that. She's going to start to levitate. Bad things are going to happen. So thank you for clarifying that.
I didn't even really catch that.
Yeah, so not unfortunate. Fortunately, the women were the power of the household. They were the head of household. And growing up, I wanted to be a girl because they were awesome. I saw my mom, I saw my tias, I saw my grandma, and the kind of strength that they took to get through everyday life. But then they have been cultured to have a male's a male, a female's a female. So it was really beaten into me no, Poppy, you're a man. That's how a man acts. That's how a man responds. And so of course, I kind of sort of conform, and I find my groove eventually as I go through life.
So just real quick, will you clarify on that? Because I think I know what you're talking about, but when you say they this is how a male responds, let's talk a little bit about that social structure of how a man responds and acts. So what do you mean by that?
So we very much live in a binary culture. Like in the United States of America, we're really binary, male, female. This is how a male acts, this is how a female acts. And my mom and my tias were very much like that. They were like, hey, like, you can't wear a dress, deepen your voice, walk differently, like don't switch your hips, you know, like because again, like, and it's not I don't think it was from a place of like just conformity, but like safety too. Like they were scared, like if I turned out one way in the world, what would happen to me? So there's that angle, but very much we grew up in a society that's binary.
So, Lamont, would you agree, and tell me if I'm way off base, though, that a lot of that was like a man is not to show free range of emotion, a man is not to be overly coddling, overly emotional, like a man is not to cry, to show grief, to show sympathy? Because, I mean, I've experienced that a lot in my life of shutting down of the female energy.
So, no, unfortunately, that was not part of my upbringing. They very much allowed me and my brothers and cousins to have our emotions and encourage us to feel our emotions. So I was fortunate on that end. But on the flip side, when some of my theos came into the picture, because I didn't spend a lot of time with my theos, but like when some of them did come in, they brought that in.
Did you hear Lamont still? Sorry, maybe it's my things.
Okay. Go on, Lamont.
All right. So they brought that energy in with them. Like, no, like, why are you crying? Don't cry. Toughen up, you know? So it's a balance of like it was this weird balance of it's okay to have your feelings, but you need to act like this. And then my uncles were like, no, it's not okay to have your feelings and act like this. So yeah.
So I just want to ask one more question. Sorry to like dominate this question when it's supposed to be about feminine energy and female energy, but you are pansexual, correct? Is that a correct term? So I just want to kind of explore that, not necessarily to get into the sexual aspect of it. I think it's more because, you know, I'm old school gay. I'm a little bit older than you. We're not going to talk about how much older, but I'm a little bit older than you. And so there was not all these expansive, exploratory terms when I was coming out. But pansexual, from my understanding, it has a lot to do with falling in love with energy, correct? And a person's soul and heart. So I want to kind of talk about, can you describe what pansexual means to you? Because I think I don't even understand it fully.
Yeah, so pansexuality to me means falling in love with the person's energy, like you were saying, falling in love with their personality and not really caring about their body parts. So a gay man wants a male, like he wants a male. He might be interested in certain different types of personality, but they have to be male. Like he's not going to go for any female, absolutely not. A bisexual, they'll go for male and female, right? But a pansexual can go from male, female, and anywhere in between, anywhere in the spectrum. Like we're not just like on the binary, we're flowing through the spectrum, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So it is about being honed into someone's energy and that attraction. Is that correct? Am I understand? I want to make sure I understand it correct, because I feel like such a fucking idiot in my own community sometimes. So it is about being in love with someone's energy, right? And what they contribute to the world. So it is purely about being in love with both masculine and feminine energy.
Yeah.
Look at, I'm learning things. Do you have any questions on that, Ashley? Are you already hip to the pansexual thing? I've just been behind on the times, or?
Well, I was having some technical things where I couldn't hear anymore. So that's why I had to leave the broadcast studio and come back in, because the universe is just, you know, giving little fun, playful experiences right now. So, so hopefully I stay connected to it. Yeah, I don't want to like ask too many questions for the sake of the people that listen to this later or after. But Let's just sort of keep it. I think I have a general understanding, but I also want to like honor everyone else. Because it'll be awkward if people are like listening to it and they're like, okay, this bitch. She's just like
What?
I mean, isn't that kind of why we have the table though? Like
for the last 5 minutes, just for me. Thank you. It's like
but I mean, that's why we have the table to like that was part of the agreement. Like, I'm gonna stick my foot in my mouth a lot, but like I honestly had no real understanding of what pansexual was. Like, I was so confused by it, and I'm admitting it. Like, you know, and like it took people like Lamont to educate me on it. And now I think I have a better understanding of it. And I think it is beautiful with this topic that there is a whole generation out there. It's like, like I'm not controlled by body parts. I'm not controlled by holes or the way we have sex. I'm controlled particularly by your energy and what you bring to this world, and, you know, how you resonate with me on an energetic level. And I think that's beautiful.
Well, here's my thought as well, is I think that most women are more attuned naturally, the ones that are actually in tune with sort of their divine feminine, to thinking like that anyway. And I think it's the male brain and the male energy that wants to be like, this goes in this box, this has this label, let's keep it all organized. And the female flow is just like, I think there's less fucks given with like all of that stuff. There, of course, are going to be women, right, like that are not understanding it for other conditioned reasons, right, or that they're maybe just sort of accessing the male viewpoints more and the male way of thinking. But I do feel like before everyone told us what to think, that is just sort of probably how a lot of us were designed to be more naturally. Like, do you think that's fair to say, Lamont, or am I taking too many?
I think that's absolutely fair to say. I think that's absolutely fair to say. Because everything that women do today, not everything, but a lot of things that women do today is man dictated. Like, wear makeup, wear high heels, wear dresses, skirts and stuff. Like, that was all like men driven to like please men, you know?
Here's my thought. Can we just like pull in Christal to also chime in on this now, and then like leave Lamont? Like, Lamont, are you cool with hanging out a little bit longer? Because I feel like
so cool with hanging out.
Here's a reminder.
Okay.
Please check the chat.
Sorry, can you guys hear that?
Oh, you're fine.
My Alexa.
Here's a reminder.
Alexa, stop! We're trying to talk to Christal.
Hi, Christal.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Awesome.
Did you catch that part? And do you think that that's like a fair way of like thinking about how women versus men might think about sexuality and sex in general?
Okay, say the first part of that piece again.
Oh, that women are more like in a state of kind of flow in terms of how they think about sex and their sexuality, versus with men, which want to put a label and kind of category to like everything. For women are more like kind of open and expanded, like without being I don't know what I'm saying anymore. It doesn't matter. We're just here.
No, yeah,
this is
I can resonate with what you're saying on a space of the non-divine masculine. I feel has been put into a really hardcore box on this planet and in this time. Their conditioning is so tight, and it's really difficult to work that out of them. They need, some of them need a lot of help understanding that it's okay to integrate their feminine energy and be in their feminine energy. Yeah, I feel really passionate about it. Honestly, I've seen it in my lovers and my friends. And of course, we, as living in a divine feminine and masculine as myself, I know where the freedom is. And I know that it's okay to integrate these energies within us and be on both sides, and to use those pieces to pull from in all of the ways that would serve. There are times when I need to be more masculine because I've integrated that part of myself. I can use that as a tool and not be afraid or feel weird. But even in that piece, like Lamont was just saying, hi Lamont, by the way, I'm so excited
Hi.
to meet you.
I'm excited to meet you too.
You know how like women have that conditioning for men to like put themselves together and like put on makeup and be gorge or whatever. And for me, like I do it for me at this point. You know, this is for me to feel fucking fabulous. But that was the conditioning, you know, and anyway, I don't know where I was going with that thought. It was gonna connect, but yeah,
It's
I really feel
it's
like there
perfect.
are the
friend.
boxes. We're put into boxes and the conditioning is silly because we can integrate we are both energies.
Yeah.
Period.
Ashley, real
So-
quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. You were making an amazing fucking point, and you need to make your points, even if you're afraid. Like you're not afraid, but like your point was totally valid, and I love it, friend. And whenever Christal comes around, I say friend right away. But like your point was so valid, and I love that you said that because with women, yeah, especially when women aren't around other people that try to keep them in the structure, they are free flowing with sexuality.
Mhm.
You know, they are very much just honed into energies, and society has put that conditioning of like, oh no, don't get into that, don't get into that. Oh, that's questionable, that's gay, that's not acceptable.
Obviously, well, not obviously to everyone else, but we have a lot of transgender friends, like, and a few that we're really close to, and I do think that a female to male, like, who is going to date a woman has an easier time because the woman's going to be open-minded more often to that change in gender than those that go male to female, because I feel like men tend to be, and I feel like there's even studies on this about how the male mind, that's what I was wanting your take on, Christal, about how the male mind thinks about sexuality and sexual partners, that the divine feminine is more fluid and has, I think, just more space and is more about the connection and the relationship. So that, I think, was really just the point that I was making, is that women, I think, in their natural state and energy are able to do that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the divine feminine in its essence is the shapeshifter. It's the experiencer. So you have the divine masculine, who is, and we see this in all the parables of all the religions and all the stories and all the symbolism. We have Shakti and Shiva. You know, Shakti is over here, the shapeshifter, the feminine energy that's like going through and flowing and experiencing life. But then there's Shiva, what is the masculine divine, that is the seer. It's the immovable. You know, it doesn't move. It's the observer. So we can look at this on a level of the yin and the yang, or God and Jesus. Okay, it's like the observer, the masculine energy. I hold space for all masculine. And then you have the feminine that comes through and is the creator and the mover. And so it is more natural for us women to be in that fluid space, for sure. But as you're talking about this, it's really downloading to me right now about the feminine, not in the divine or in the consciousness, that puts herself even in the rigid box of masculinity. That is something that's blowing my mind as I'm sitting here too. Women that shut themselves off from diving into shadow, going into that evolution, and carrying a lot of masculine energy that they haven't integrated and become at peace with, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it's the uniting and the integration that does create the peace. And I do think it was, I'm guessing at some point when patriarchy stepped in, that created all of these dualities of, like, it's either sort of like the virgin, the innocent, the good girl, and then the other side of the pendulum, like the whore, the prostitute, sort of like the dirty one, you know? And it's sort of like there's all of these split energies, and it's like almost like people feel like they have to pick a side and be boxed in within the energy. And like Christal saying, like, even integrating the divine feminine, like I think the divine feminine is the integration. Does that make sense? And same probably with the male side as well.
Yeah, it's all about integration, because being able, like I was saying before, it's like to be able to pull from that piece. So say you're in bed with your lover and they need tenderness, but you haven't, and okay, so I mean, it would have to be, you know, a man and a cisgender man and woman. Okay. And the woman needs tenderness. She needs this to open up, to heal, to start, or to even be able to perform in the bedroom, like feel safe enough. She needs tenderness. If a man is able to integrate his feminine energy, he can show up to her in that way, in that space, and then ultimately get laid, which is what he wants to get. Right? But it's like, it's integrating that magical stuff and mastering the self, and asking yourself, what percentage masculine and feminine am I comfortable, you know, operating? And this can change. None of it has to stay the same. But to be able to pull those resources, to be resourced within yourself, to show, I mean, for me right now as an entrepreneur, I've been finding, like, my husband's been saying to me, your masculine energy is like driving me nuts, right? It's like, and I'm like, I know, but I spend so much of my day at a 30,000 foot point of view, looking into the business, being the seer, that it's like, now I have to deregulate that when I get into the bedroom or whatever. Maybe it's time for him to get domed that night. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that what you're saying about business is that everybody has been conditioned to see professional life and business through a masculine lens. And that is the fucking thing that drives me crazy, because I see all these business owners out there that are like not having fun, that feel like they're this hamster on a wheel, and they're just trying to like be so strategic and build these plans and do all these things, and really not even taking time to like look at the being side of things, to actually really sink into the energy of it, to let their intuition come out and to operate from there, to be self-reflective and to be in the mode of creation. Like, I feel like that's the manifesting side of things, of knowing that you can attract and magnetize things to you and not just go out and have to do them and have it be hard work. And like that, I feel like for everybody is such a shift, right? To actually operate that way, when everyone taught you that it was supposed to be something else.
So you're saying to bring the feminine energy as the operator, right? If that were it, then the operator would to be in flow and trust and unfolding in truth, right? To release and surrender and unfold into the next space, rather than to, I mean, even as a divine masculine, looking down and wanting to make sure it's like the overseeing father, you know, and he sees and he says, I will put everything in its right space. But the divine feminine says, I'm going to let it reveal itself to me. I'm going to let it reveal itself through me, because I'm the vessel. I am a vessel.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. Business ran differently. And that, for me personally, has, it sometimes is a little struggle. You know, I'm like, okay, get back to being easy, get back to getting in flow, get back, you know, I have to keep reminding myself, because it's a conditioned world around what shows up in business and how to get it done.
And when I asked Lucinda, who was a past guest of ours, and she was going to join us as like a third guest, and I asked, really put it out to everyone, how they viewed the difference between like masculine, feminine energy, like in business. Like her response was amazing. She was like, the bottom chakras like are all the masculine energy, and the top chakras are all the feminine energy, and we're meant to use both. And I never viewed it through the chakra lens like that. But if you guys aren't familiar with the chakras, the bottom ones are, well, I guess like the only thing, Christal, now that I'm thinking about it, is I'm thinking about sacral and creativity and creation. And I really like the simplicity of it, but I feel like it might be more than that.
Yeah.
What do you think? What are you seeing?
I feel that the chakras definitely they are rotating masculine, feminine all the way up through. But I do understand what you mean. I mean, there's if you look at just the base chakra, our grounded chakra, our providing chakra, our security chakra, it is masculine energy.
Yeah, that one I definitely feel like, because it's really about like the sense of safety, really. And I feel like, yeah, we definitely need both. And I feel like when you're talking about manifesting, how we always talk about it's the blend of the being and the doing, that you do have to be out there and actually take inspired actions, but you need to stop and be in the feminine energy to receive those intuitive nudges before you go out and action it. And even while I feel like a place of action, you can be flowing in action, you can be fluid and find ease in action versus like, I've got to get this done, like, let's do it.
Well,
Agreed.
well,
Beingness can be action, or you can be in action and be in beingness simultaneously. This is again balancing out the masculine and feminine within you and finding that nuance and that line where it's like the sweet spot, you know?
Who was starting? Was that James?
Yeah, it was me. Hi. But just real quick, as I'm listening to you guys, I'm just fascinated by the whole conversation, as I'm sure Lamont is. Like, I can like listen to this all day, and I'm thinking, like, you know, how men are feel they're not allowed to engage in conversations like this, and how that is a big problem, and how men, like, if you like look at like things like yoga, where are so essential, and meditation, or having conversations like this, like I have conversations with y'all like this all the time privately, and it's like a centerpiece of my life. But the baseline male does not feel that he's allowed to engage in this kind of conversation because it's sissy or it's weak or, you know, it's gay or it's fruit. Like, you know, there's so much out there that I think that's what part of the big disalignment in our society right now is. We have to engage the man to not be that dominant male energy, to tap into the feminine energy. I think that's where we've gone really askew here. And actually, like you're saying, and women, like, own your feminine energy when it comes to business or standing your place in society or speaking. Like, own
I want men to own their feminine energy as well, because
well that's what I'm saying, though, that I think that's where we've got top heavy, is that, you know, men really unfortunately are in power too much, overly in power, and they also don't tap into that female energy, and they don't think about things like spirituality or chakras or yoga or spirit or soul, you know. And I think that's really where all you women listening, like, you know, really open those gates for men to feel comfortable. Like, I'm listening to your conversation with your husband, Christal. Like, that's amazing that your husband can have conversations with you like that and engages, but how many men are open to that?
It's taking a lot of work.
But you
taking the work of a sex soul coach, let me tell you. Over there, and it's fabulous, you know, that give and take, and it's comfortable in the way where we're confident and centered in the energies that we've integrated. It's so important. Integration is the biggest part.
And Lamont, I do kind of want to talk to you about something too in a second, but Christal, I kind of want to hear about like because you're like a newlywed, right? Like you guys just got.
Say that again.
You're a newlywed, right? You just got married was it a couple months ago, right? Congrats,
yeah.
Beautiful friend.
I'm a repeat newlywed right now. Yes.
But like you just said, like, it took a lot of work. So did you come up against those challenges, like, as you entered this relationship, where he felt he couldn't step in to that feminine energy, or those conversations of safety, or even in the bedroom, like, of safety and exchanging, you know, roles?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has fully been an ownership that it was going to be a lot of work.
Okay.
But, you know, having then on that more of an esoteric level, like knowing we have a karmic path, knowing our souls have work to do, willingness to do that work rather than just sit in the, oh, we are so great, we never fight, everything flows. Like, that's not us. We've really struggled, and it is through the work of sexuality, straight up, that we finally started to link. And like, the love is there, but the energetic system and not understanding our energies on a deeper level, on a masculine, feminine level, and respecting them, having respect for the integration and the practice of integration is what truly, that was our needle mover, for sure. We're now able to be in our masculine. I mean, straight up, for a long time, I was like, I feel like I'm married to a really mean bitch. Like, there's a bitch, he's got a bitch inside of him that wasn't integrated. It was like he was uncomfortable in being in his feminine, which he organically is. He has feminine in him. And so it would come out really bitchy. And I'm like, why am I like, ew. Right? Come on. Push me on the bed. Give me a growl. Like, not like a passive aggressive eye roll. Like, what is going on? So we've done the work, we've integrated, and now the divine feminine or divine masculine that he is allowed to be within himself is only because he gave himself the space to be in his divine feminine. When he was in that shitty, bitchy feminine, shit was not cute. Divine feminine couldn't even, or masculine couldn't even come through. Right. So you integrate one and the other starts to arrive.
So can I ask real quick? And I think, Ashley, you were talking about that Madonna whore syndrome. That Madonna, like, you're either a Madonna or whore. And I think, Christal, you're saying, like, fucking pull my hair, but it's the Madonna whore. And Lamont, your thoughts on this too, because I know that you're very active in your church. And I posted something about, like, you're allowed to be spiritual and sexual.
Totally. I agree, because it's all part of us. It's all part of us. But keep going. I'm sorry, interruption.
Well, no, I want you to talk about that. And like, Ashley, like, anything you want to jump in about, like, feeling that flow of sexuality. Like, I feel like we're regulated.
Well, I want to bring it to other places, because I think it's like sexuality and like, how is it in the rest of life, right? Because I think that it's carrying this energy with us to like all places. And I also... You guys can talk about sex. I'm here for it.
No, but like, my point is that I think that, like, if you like want to be like, or should be, or are growing into being a powerful business leader, that then all of a sudden you can't also be that sexual person. And I think that's the blockage and the categorizing of male and female energy. And I think it all needs to coincide, that if you're a leader, then don't be sexual. If you're sexual, then you're not a leader. Does that make sense? And I think that's blockage and like the pulling apart of masculine. Like, men can be whatever the fuck they want. Apparently, they can be sluts and business leaders, but for a woman, she can't be both. And I think that's where I get really annoyed. Or you can't be spiritual and sexual. And I think that that's cast upon women, and that really annoys me.
I think Dr. Brene Brown says it best. She says that when we numb our emotions, we numb all of our emotions. We're unable to feel happiness, joy, creativity, even though we're just trying to numb like hurt and pain. So you have to let the hurt and the pain in order to experience the joy, the happiness, the creativity. So I think in the same way, in our divine energies, we have to let that feminine energy in, and we have to let that masc energy in, so we can feel everything. Because when we numb, we can't feel it in its entirety, and we can't be in its entirety.
Hallelujah.
So Ashley, like, more more thoughts on that, because you're super passionate about this. So I want to hear more of your insight on your journey with this now, about really feeling that feminine energy is coming into play, but there's this big blockage or resistance to it.
Yeah, I was just realizing as well that we're like almost near the end of our hour, which is like kind of crazy because it feels like it just like flew by. But I think I think that the masculine is like amazing. And I feel like are so familiar with the masculine. I actually feel like it is more a balanced conversation when we highlight the feminine. I think that, yes, it's all about the integration. But what's waking up right now and what's like really showing up, I feel like, in a lot of women is this powerful energy, and it doesn't feel like you would think. Like, I think that that's the misconception, is that it's supposed to be like, you know, just soft and intuitive, and it's just like, no, like there is a force to it as well. And I think I'm just starting to understand it, and I'm like reading multiple books about it at the same time. But I think that my interest in it is not about like tearing down the patriarchy. It's not about giving our energy to tear down the men in power. It's actually giving it to one another to wake it up, because I think the divine feminine is woken up through connection, through seeing each other, through being able to be in a space to be vulnerable with one another, and it's putting the energy and the conversation towards that rather than trying to like tear down or destroy something else. So that's what's like really brewing within me right now.
I appreciate that so much. I mean, the piece around it doesn't resonate for me. The wanting to achieve something by tearing shit down and making it worse. It's focusing on the negativity of it, and that goes back to that piece that James brought through. Hey, like, it's interesting and downloading for me right now that men almost feel like they're not invited to this conversation. And it's like the piece around saying, I'm not going to put any energy towards tearing anything down and resisting anything. I'm going to because what resists fucking persists. So let me put my energy towards what I want to see, like inviting that man to that conversation. Right?
Right.
See, the three of you just honestly gave me a whole new perspective on so much. And I really think it is about letting those men that have no other viewpoint and those women like into the conversation and the awakening, and like, lovingly tapping each other. Maybe you have to be a little loud sometimes, but letting men see the feminine side, and like let women really understand like like the time of empowerment, and we need that female empowerment so much.
Well, the men, I feel like the men that don't want to understand, it's sort of like how we talk about the strongest vibration wins. Like a balanced woman that's owning her divine feminine, it's like cannot be stopped. Like there was a time when men would like come, like the oracles of Delphi, and like before some kind of battle or any big decision, they would come and consult these women. And there is an energy to that is transformative, and it's sort of like it's either going to repel them and they're going to have to go exist elsewhere. Like I don't know what happened. Or they get kind of pulled up and attuned to it. And I feel like that is really what I'm feeling with this.
Well, Lamont, we're going along, right?
We're going along. I think you're like in the process of like a Beyonce awakening. Like I felt like I love Beyonce and I follow her career and her life and stuff. And she went from timid, shy, she's an introvert person, even though she looks extroverted when she performs. She's really an introvert by nature. And when she hit her 30s, we saw this like different side of this diva emerge, this in touch with her sexuality, in touch with her femme, in touch, like just feeling empowered. Like, I love sex and I love sex with my husband and deal with it. I'm gonna write songs about it, like, and you're just like, wow, look at her becoming like this woman. And I just feel like you're kind of in that thing where you're like, hey, like I'm arrived. Like I'm discovering this about me, and I'm discovering this about me, and I'm willing to share with this person and this person because they deserve to hear my story, and I know it's safe, and I might share with this person, and even if they're not okay with it, I'm gonna be okay. So,
and I keep realizing that I have a hard time explaining it, and I feel like the explaining of it is actually sort of more the male energy, that it's just like, can you tell me the 10-step process to guide me towards the divine feminine, please? Like, I'm going to outline, if it's just like, I feel like there's just these activations. It is energetic, it is download, it is sort of like things that are dormant, waking up, energies and conditionings, like really like moving away. It is I feel like, I don't know if you guys can sense this as well, but I do find that it is hard to talk about other than that, because it's to be experienced, and I do the fucking work, like, let me tell you. And I know Christal, she does the work like this with people, and it's like there's so many layers to it that sometimes I have a hard time explaining what's happening. I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, I'm listening to these books and remembrances are being triggered. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, ancient biology, your DNA passing through. I mean, who knows what you could possibly, what we all are possibly carrying from generations and generations in our DNA around this subject.
Yes.
But ultimately, there was never a disconnection. And I feel like that's a really important part to take away on masculine and feminine energy. It's because, so for example, when you think about the story of Shakti and Shiva, or how, whatever words you want to put on it, one does not exist without the other. And the way that, and they're in love with each other. So, Shiva knows he cannot expand without his counterpart Shakti out in the world being the vessel, because Shakti is his only way. Or you have like the all-seeing God in Jesus. Jesus is down here experiencing, getting the work done, and God knows this is my channel to get that done. Now this is reversed, right? Shakti knows I'm not even in creation without Shiva. And it's that piece of these counterparts being in love with each other and finding their way home to each other, rather than being in this duality. It's I think a lie, I mean, the duality is there, but if we look at it deeper, it's one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's perfect.
Goddess consciousness. Because I feel like Christ consciousness as well is like a thing. And I feel like most of the women were taken out of a lot of religious texts by men that wanted to not really allow women to like see their full power. So I feel like that might be like a whole separate conversation. But I do really want, I think, Christal, maybe each of us can like leave everybody with something that they would want them maybe to explore, to like sort of find these other energies. Like I feel like working with a ascended master, like one of the women ascended masters, like Kali Ma, or maybe like a little green Tara, or Sophia, or Mary Magdalene. Like I feel like working with one of those ascended masters and looking up kind of what they represent and asking them to come in during meditation, or there's some great books out there that really kind of give these downloads and these activations. Those are the kinds of things that I'm reading right now. So that's sort of one thing that I would want women or men that want to wake up that other side of themselves to go and experiment with. Any other suggestions from you guys about what people might do?
Yeah, so I would like to see men be penetrated more.
Yes. Even straight men.
Because they don't get into the body, basically, is what I'm saying. So, that's the work I do. I take people into their body, and once you experience it on that level, I mean, we can be up here all we want and out here, and I am, far too much sometimes, but once we drop into the body, messages really start to show up. So what I really fully believe is that a man, once he is understanding what it is to be penetrated in the bedroom and being in that surrender mode, it connects him to a way different divinity, and it makes him a better lover, straight up. So that's my contribution.
Fuck
to that.
yeah, Christal.
Yes, girl.
Well,
I guess-
while looking down at Lamont.
I guess my contribution could be, if you guys ever want to talk about The Shack, it's an amazing book, and God's a big black woman in it, and it takes God to a different perspective of like who he is, who she is, and how it is combined. If you ever want to have a conversation on that, let's have a conversation on that, or check it out on your own. It's called The Shack. I forgot the author, but it's called The Shack. It's a really good book and a movie. So
Cool.
Very nice.
Jamie?
This is gonna sound really off the wall, but I think that men especially and women should listen to women comedians more. And I say that because you hear a lot you hear a lot of truth come out through humor. You hear a lot of intelligent humor. You hear a lot of insight brought to you in a way to bring you joy as well. I think women comedians are not given their due. I think women comedians, if you want to talk about masculine and feminine, to succeed in that energy, you have to work both fucking sides like a fucking animal. And I think if you like, especially documentaries following women, and like Sarah Silverman, I'm going to say it, like a lot of people are turned off by her, but if you watch documentaries following her, like the insight into that journey to succeed, to get there, and the things that are brought forth in the routines are going to give you a new perspective, especially men that aren't as privileged as I am to hang out with women like you, to really get a new perspective and have a keen ear for the woman's experience and how it is to own your femininity in a masculine world. So that's my little suggestion.
With it.
So I know, James, you and I usually close things out together, but I feel like kind of a sense of completeness right now. Like,
I
should
was
we
just thinking the same thing. Sorry.
Okay, well, good. Well, thank you, everybody. Like, we are going to be talking about, I want to say aliens and UFOs next week, right?
Yep.
Is that next week? Yeah.
Mhm.
Aliens and
I'll
UFOs.
tune in. I'll be tuning in.
I'm
I'll be in
excited.
the comment section.
So excited.
We'll see you then. We'll see you next Friday. Bye, everybody.
I love you all.
Thank
Thank you guys. Wow.
It's